let's talk to Mr. Jeff Tijssen, Head of FinTech and Partnerships at CAPCO and Chair FinTech and China Working Group at Tech London Advocates. Now, that's a lot of responsibility, young Jeff.
It is indeed, Nick.
Just extraordinary. So what does CAPCO do?
CAPCO is a global management and technology consulting firm dedicated to financial services. So we work with most of the big financial services companies in the world, from retail banks to investment banks, insurance companies, a number of private equity houses as well.
Right, okay. And what are the Tech London Advocates?
Tech London Advocates is a private sector-led initiative of close to 2,500 people now that have committed to making London the best place in the world for technology startups to set up their business. So almost 2,500 people champion the London technology sector.
In terms of quantity and quality of these startups in London versus the rest of the world, are we a leader or a laggard?
I definitely see us as a leader. Obviously, it depends.
Well, that's good.
It is indeed.
I didn't ask where you're from actually, so I should perhaps ask that
first. I was born in Holland, moved to Canada, spent quite a bit of time in the US, moved back to Amsterdam, and then moved to London just about 5 years ago now.
Right.
I think if there's a quality and quantity of startups. It depends on the sector that you look at, or the vertical that you look at. If I take the fintech sector as an example, I strongly believe that London is the best place in the world for fintech startups. I strongly believe that we are the fintech capital, not just of Europe, but of the rest of the world as well. If you look at quantity, the number of startups continues to increase. And if you look at the investment that is coming into London as well, it is fantastic, and that continues to grow. In terms of quality, there's some phenomenal startups out there. One of the challenges that we have in London is taking those startups to the next level and helping them to scale up their business. We have yet to see an Apple or a Google or a Facebook here in London. I think we're getting there.
Do you think so? That's exciting.
I think we're getting there. If you look at companies like TransferWise or WorldPay, who are now valued at more than $1 billion US, I think there's an awful lot of very, very promising startups here in the UK, and London in particular.
Right. So what challenges does London face moving forward?
There's a couple. I think talent remains a key challenge. And I think at the moment there is an awful lot of talent in London, from developers to designers and you name it. So there's an awful lot of talent out there at the moment. If London wants to remain one of the leading technology capitals in the world, we need to make sure that in the next 1, 2, 5, 10 years we have a sufficient amount of talent. And I think there was an article in City AM fairly recently that said in 5 years from now, so in 2020, we need an additional 2.2 million digitally skilled workers across the UK in order to realise the potential of the digital economy.
How do they come up with a number like that?
Good question.
I know the owner very well. I'm going to ask him the next time I see him.
I think if you look at, there's probably a number of metrics that they've used, but if you look at the number of existing fintech startups and other technology startups that we have in London and the rest of the UK, and how fast that is growing. So if you look at where we are now, where we might be in 5 years from now, look at the average size of the company, whatever metric it is that they've decided to use.
Business plan.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm an aspiring entrepreneur. What tips are you going to give me?
There's a couple. I would say, when I look at it from an investment perspective, so if I start there, I think the mistake that a lot of startups make at the moment is they go with the first investor that gives them a bag of money. And there's access to liquidity at the moment, so there's an awful lot of capital out there. So finding...
But for tech? Okay.
Yeah, I think technology in particular.
Right.
I think an awful lot of money is being invested into technology startups at the moment. But don't just go with the first investor that offers you a bag of money. This is a longer term relationship. Find someone that can open doors for you. You need to see this as a longer term relationship, almost as a marriage. So that to me is very important.
But if you're desperate to get your business off the ground, invariably your engagement, lasts for about 1 day because you see the pound notes, don't you? That's very difficult to say, oh, hold on a minute, Fred. Okay, I'm not going to get married to you. I'm going to have a look around. And the chance I could lose that initial amount of money, that's difficult.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you look at it. Right? There is excess liquidity at the moment, so an awful lot. The angel investment sector is thriving at the moment. There's more and more VCs that are coming onto the market. A lot of institutional investors. And in terms of the money that is being invested, it isn't just coming from UK investors. We're seeing an awful lot of interest from venture capital from the United States, from China, from other parts of Asia, that all realize there's a huge potential here in the
So this is overseas
sector.
money coming into London?
Part of it is. Part of it is being invested by some of the larger VCs from the US that have now set up a business here in London. There's a big Chinese VC that is now setting up one of the largest technology funds here in London, and looking to invest in technology startups and helping those startups to scale their business in China.
Right. Fascinating stuff. Give me one more tip before we run out of time.
One thing I would say as well is make sure that, if I look at my friends group as an example, there's an awful lot of people that had a successful career in banking or at a law firm or whatever, and a lot of them have now decided to set up their own company, their own startup, and most of them are technology startups. Take a leap of faith. It will be challenging, and a lot of them have left a very comfortable position, and they were well paid, but they've decided to take a leap of faith and just go for it. And it will be challenging, and there will be ups and downs, but I think at the end of the day, it can be incredibly rewarding to be an entrepreneur.
Okay, Mr. Jeff Tijssen, Head of FinTech and Partnerships at CAPCO and Chair FinTech and China Working Group at Tech London Advocates. You must be a very, very busy man, clearly. Thank you for your time.
You're very welcome, Nick.